This video is a presentation of the airport use case of the European FP7 project EMILI. The prototype you are about to see is based on the Nikola Tesla Airport in Belgrade. You will see two instances of the software, one for the trainer and the other for the trainee. The main difference between these two instances is that the trainer's instance includes components for creating, editing and playing scenarios. First, we will present trainer's application and the two components that are only available to the trainer. In the middle, you can see a number of buttons that open other components. Current time is shown in the upper left corner, while the time that elapsed since the first alarm is shown in the upper right corner. We will now show the scenario editor. First, one needs to create one or more event patterns. These are groups of events in a scenario that represent some situation. For example, a user can create an event pattern called fire in the sorting room with several fire detections happening in this room, or a pattern baggage handling line which will consist of several events indicating baggage handling line malfunctions. Then scenarios are created out of one or more event patterns. For example, here we are creating a scenario that consists of baggage handling line problems and fire in the sorting room. Another aspect in the training is behavior of the devices. Tab SCADA command response can be used to define a response to any of the available commands in the system. For example, we can define that when a command to open one of the automatic doors is issued, the emulator will respond with the door stuck event. Any number of command response pairs can be added to the list and saved under a chosen name. Now we will move on to the training session player. Trainer is supposed to choose one of the available scenarios and complications, which will later be executed. The execution is controlled by using buttons below. This concludes presentation of the components that are specific to the trainer's instance. Now we'll move on to the trainee's application. We will first show the action control panel. It consists of three tabs. First one, Create, is used to create groups of actions which can be saved under a chosen name and later executed. On the other hand, tab Execute is used to select the desired group of actions and finally execute it. The tab Track is used for tracking actions in the system. Here a user can see time, short description of the action, its state, and there are two buttons for each action. One brings out an explanation about why the action was initiated, and the other removes the action from the view. We will now move on to the 2D view. It shows the ground floor of the Nikola Tesla Airport in Belgrade. It shows the state of automatic doors, elevators, fire detectors, safety of areas, and evacuation paths. This brings us to the 3D view. It visualizes the Terminal 2 of the Nikola Tesla Airport. We can change the position and viewing direction of the camera and choose to show or hide any of the levels. In this instance, we hit the roof and the first floor and can now see the ground floor where the state of fire detectors is visualized. Finally, there is a document management system where a user can go to various legal procedures and manuals. We will now go to trainer's instance and use the training session player to play a scenario. We will choose big fire scenario happening in the sorting room without any problems with the devices. In a short while, you will see changes on the screen. We'll first check the state of fire detectors by using 2D view of the trainer's instance. We can see the same thing by using the trainee's 2D visualization, where we can also see that there is a problem with the baggage handling line. The state of fire detectors can also be checked by using the 3D view. Now, we will stop the scenario in order to go through everything that happened in the system. At this point in the scenario, fire has spread to the considerable part of the sorting room, as we will shortly see in both 2D and 3D view of the trainee's application. Next, we will turn our attention to the lower left part, where the overview of the situation is shown. a user can see the overall state of affected fire sectors, number of detections, affected areas and estimated fire size in those areas, and general information about adjacent fire sectors. We will now go to the lower right part where notifications and recommendations are shown. We can see a notification that the device is malfunctioning in the room GFR04, which is the code for the sorting room. The first word in the title, info, tells us that this is a notification. We can check these actions in the action control panel. And we can also use notification and recommendation part to cancel automatically initiated actions. After cancelling one of the actions, we will remove it from the list of tracked actions. We can also see that fire has been detected in the sorting room, and as a result, the area warden was sent to check out this alarm. Next, we are notified about the initiation of fire mitigation activities in the sorting room. Now that the area warden has been sent to check out the alarm in the sorting room, we are expecting a report from him. This report will be sent by the trainer, since this is an exercise. We can also see in the action control panel the checking of that area is finished. The fire has spread from the sorting room to the neighboring areas. As a result, we are also notified that fire mitigation activities were initiated in these areas and that the area warden is supposed to check out these areas as well. On the other hand, in the trainer's application, we again need to fill out reports about all these areas. We are now in State Alert 2 and the system recommends us to evacuate. If we click on the justification button, we will see a set of rules that led to this recommendation. We can also get the same explanation if we click the button Explain in the action control panel next to this action. In order to properly evacuate people, we will use simulations. We will estimate the safety of escape paths in the near future and then use this information to calculate escape routes. Evacuation needs to be approved by the emergency coordinator, which will now be done by the trainer. 2D view can be used to check the recommended escape paths as well as the results of the simulation. This concludes recommendations and notifications in the Alert 2 stage, so we will now resume with the scenario. We can now see that fire has spread to yet another area for which the trainer will now send a report. In the 3D view, we can see the final state of fire detectors. Currently, we are in State Alert 3 and are notified about fire mitigation activities in yet another room. This room will also be checked by the area warden. The system now recommends to activate the Emergency Operations Center, which is another action that has to be approved by the emergency coordinator. This can be seen in the action control panel, where the status of this action is waiting. The trainer will again act as emergency coordinator and approve establishing of the Emergency Operations Center, which we will now see in the action control panel that says that the action is now executing. Since the trainee has done everything right, the fire will start to recede. We'll see reduced number of fire detections, and we can track this on both 3D and the 2D view. The number of detections is now reduced and the system deduces that the state in certain areas should be lowered. However, the system should not do this automatically. Unlike raising of the alert level, which can be done automatically, in case the system wants to lower the alert level, it has to seek approval. As the trainee chooses to approve lowering of the state, the system will go to lower and lower alert levels until it finally reaches the state exceptional.